Hey everybody, it's Kyra and welcome back to Planet Zoo. It has been a while since we have been doing Planet Zoo and I don't really think I did anything off camera. I'm not entirely sure. I think I did this off camera, but I think that may be everything. I kind of contemplated starting a new zoo just because this one, we've put some work into it, but not like a ton. One thing I do know that I did off camera is that our staff previously had no work zones, so I gave them all their little individual habitats except for the mechanics. We only had 4 of those because I don't have enough money to go ahead and get more of those yet. And we do have an extra mechanic to do mechanic research as well. Just because I do want to start doing some of this research in here. I've gotten them started on the aquatic theme. And then I was looking for something just to like fill out this last space that we have for a habitat. So what I kind of chose, as you can see, is the 9-banded armadillo. They're relatively easy to take care of as far as I can tell. I was looking at the Zoopedia, they need barely any space. It's like 182 meters. They just need something that's taller than 3 feet. Very, very easy. And I mean, we could do a guest entry habitat if we really wanted to, but I don't know, because we have this one that has guests in it, and this one as well, and this one doesn't, so if we made this one have guests in it, it would be uneven. So I'm kind of tempted to go for no on the guest habitat. What type of fence do we need? I think it just said grade 1. I just want to double check. Yes, it did. So we can use our normal wood log barriers for this. I don't think I'm going to be having any glass viewing over here just because we have the glass viewing for the peafowls over there, and I don't really want there to be any intersecting stuff going on. So yeah, we might have some over here. Big might. But it's more likely that we're gonna have most of our viewing for these guys over here. This fence is not straight, I can tell you that much right now. There we go, and then we just need to finish it up like so. There we go, we got the fence all set up, and now we just need to make sure that it is all taller. If you have not been watching, I always make my enclosures 3.5 meters tall, just because I want them all to be even, and it's never caused me any issues. So, our viewing for these guys is over here. So, I mean, I could do the viewing for these guys over here. It might overlap a tiny little bit, but that's fine. And then I think I have some extra viewing over here as well, yeah. So we could do viewing in those 2 spots on this one as well. And I think it'll be okay. So we'll just do 4 panels for viewing here, and then we'll do the entire side over here for viewing, just because I feel like that will make sense. And I'm trying to pull some people over here, so we might start advertising our whatchamacallits at the beginning of the zoo. And then we need a habitat gate, obviously. I've put this one over here, so I want to line this one up with that one. We're gonna need another zookeeper for this area. But for now, I shall just bring them in. Just send them both to the zoo. Delivery has been scheduled. Okay. I can press play right quick and speed it up a little bit. Wait for our peoples to bring them in. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Okay, there we go. Having to queue to use a facility. Ooh, okay. So we're gonna have to get more staff facilities over there. I don't have enough money for it right now. which is unfortunate, but it is the truth. I'm going to grab these guys and place them where they should be. I typically just place them on the edge of both of these, as I'm sure you know if you have been watching. And then I'm going to grab, oops. I don't know how to fix that. What did I press? I pressed G, okay. I want not any of this. I need educations. Okay. We need to get our little educational speaker over here. Pop that right in the middle. And then plop one over here. And then we use these screens as well. Just do it on either side of the boards there. And then we can set these all to be the 9-banded armadillo. Change the range of this just a little bit. We don't want it to conflict though, because it'll make the guests angry, so we will do what we can here. Okay, so there we go, and now we just need to make sure that the habitat looks spiff and span for these guys. Which isn't too difficult. As you can see, they're very little creatures. So when we do this, we want to keep that in mind. Okay, so they need hard shelter. They have way too much space. They have 7 times as much space as they need, which is fine. Okay, and then in order to do a, what's it called? The way that I do hard shelter personally, I'll do one over here. So I just build up a rock, try to make it like kind of rounded so it looks natural. But we build up this rock here, bring it forward up here as well, because if you don't, it won't count as much of a hole. And then I use the push tool to open it up again, just to make sure that they can get in it, obviously, because they will need to be able to get in it in order for it to count as a hard shelter. And this is the best way that I've found to do this, really. If you poke holes in it, it's fine. That won't count as a hard shelter if you leave it that way, so I do patch them up. It looks kind of cool sometimes, so I get tempted not to leave it there. But that's how I do that. And then they have 100% of their hard shelter, and I will include a couple more things, just because I feel like it'll make sense. And then I want to make sure... Okay, so that's an issue. If I put water in here, it won't necessarily reach, which is unfortunate. I will try my bestest to kind of keep it in this space over here. In order to make ponds, I'm sure you guys have seen me make ponds several times, because I've made one in almost every enclosure I've done. What I do is I flatten a small area of ground as much as I want it to be deep, right? And then I use the flatten to foundation tool, and if you set it at the bottom of that, it'll flatten whatever you go over to that height. So now this whole thing is all the same deep, but it looks a little weird on the edges, so I use the pull tool just to pull around it a little bit more to smooth it out. And that helps so that the animals can actually get in it and drink. This one's going to be kind of small. And then I use the smoothing tool to just further smooth it out. Ensure the animals can access it properly. Like so. And then you plop the water in. Not at that height. There. So they might not be able to access it, which I'm totally fine with, honestly. I don't really care if they can access the water because it's not a drinking hole necessarily. It's more of a extra feature for the guests to be able to view. that does cut down on some of their like actual space that they have. I'll show you that in a second. So they have like 700, now they're gonna have probably a little bit closer to 600. So you do have to be careful with that for sure. Because, okay, are you done being in a box now? It'll cut down their space obviously. So yeah, see they have 601 now. So it took about 100 meters of space this did. So yeah, you have to be careful if you're putting a water creature in a space. They have to have a certain amount of land and then a certain amount of water, and they count as separate needs. So yeah, there's that. And then I just have to paint their terrain so that they like it more. Looks like they want a bit more short grass, not too much, but I can like get some key areas to be short grass instead of the long grass. And then they need soil, a lot of soil. So I put it in the water and around the water as well, because it just makes sense that it would be there, obviously. Dust it around a little bit. They want a little bit of rock, but not too much. So I will probably coat this entire area in some rock. Because that tends to be what I do. I make their houses out of rock, because I think it makes sense. They also want sand, like in between this area here, and then we can put it over here as well. It would also make sense to put the sand around the water, especially for putting palm trees and all that stuff, but yeah. And then we get to these fun little times where they have too much long grass and I have no idea where it is, because you can't see it after a certain point. But yeah, there we go. So once we're all green, I kind of leave it and I don't touch it anymore, because if I do, we will cause issues. So they actually they're fine with the amount of coverage that they currently have, but I do want to add a couple plants just because I can. I'm gonna pop in one of these guys because I feel like that looks super nice. And then I'm a big like tree person, so usually I pop in many trees around the water specifically, especially if I'm using palm trees, obviously. And then we have these other palm trees, like, will look good next to these ones. And I feel like this looks really cool. I'm not angry at the way that it looks. And that's as much coverage as they need. They don't need any more, but I need more to feel better about the way that it looks. I'm gonna pop some of these bushes down here because they'll look nice there. Okay, there we go. They got some grass and stuff there, and then we can put some bracken at the bases of these trees, because it'll make it look really cool if you do that. I love the way that it looks when you put like bushes at the bottom of the trees. It just adds a bit more of like an overgrown almost feeling, which I really like in this specific context. I love the way that it looks when you do all this. And I have been kind of lazy in some of my habitats and not done that super well, but you know, oh well, it's fine. And then I think because they're very like desert creatures, adding up some like dead trees and stuff could be nice. Look like it fits in the area. We have so many options to do dead trees and like stumps and stuff as well. So I feel like it makes sense. And then maybe, I don't know, honestly, like some dead grass. Because we have some dead grass. There's also some eucalyptus. Or it's not eucalyptus, but it looks like eucalyptus. I don't know, I'm looking for a specific dead looking. Well, this, honestly, makes a lot of sense. That looks perfect right there. So, yeah. I mean, the whole space doesn't make a whole ton of sense the way that it is, because it would be kind of weird for an area to actually be like two different types of biomes. But you already kind of expect a zoo to be man-made, so I'm not really too worried about it. And we want to be careful not to give them too much coverage either, because that would be an issue. I don't know how to do it. I honestly, the best thing I think we can do now is like add some hard shelter using rocks. So this is one of my favorite things to do. I use a big rock as the base, and then I use some smaller rocks in the area as like, I don't know, just to make it look like it's a bit more intentional, that it is the way it is, you know? I'm looking for these little guys. These guys look so good at the base of these custom like rock build things. I absolutely adore them. And then these big flat pieces are what I use to make the hard shelter, and this does count as hard shelter also, which is really super duper cool. I'm gonna use this bigger rock if I can get it in a place I like. Please, can you like, I mean, stay there. Okay. That's, I don't love that actually. We're gonna change our minds on that one. But the way that the rocks naturally lay is pretty, like, it makes sense, honestly. It doesn't make perfect sense, I'm not even gonna lie, but the way that they lie does look fairly natural. And then I'm gonna use different large rock, turn it a little bit, use that as the other side, and then obviously fill in the little bottom area to make it look like it is propped up correctly in this space. I really love doing. It just gives it a whole nother look, honestly. Yeah. So once I finish with that, we can start adding in some more of their stuff, enrichment and such. Ooh. Ooh. Can I move it without it looking ridiculous? So I've done this so many times where I accidentally put the rock in the wrong place, and it like majorly clips with the fence. So we're gonna try to fix it. Honestly, that looks fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. It is fine by me. Okay. So yeah, we have a little hard shelter there. They can see them if they go into that hard shelter, which is good. We don't want to block too much of their view because they will get angry if they can't see the animals. But now we just have to filter this by species, and we will go to the 9-banded armadillo, and we have to give them like their water, their food dish, you know, all that stuff. I tend to give them just a large food bowl, and I'm gonna kind of try to keep it in an area where they can see them, because again, they do not like it if they can't see the armadillos. So like that, and then they have these also, like these enrichment feeders that work for these guys, and the zookeepers actually have to fill them up. So yeah, and you want to kind of spread out your enrichment items so that they don't just stay in one space all the time, because then the people wouldn't be able to see them, obviously. So I'm gonna try to kind of plop them around everywhere. And then I also want to give them just one more like hard shelter back over here, so that if they need to, they can hide from people. And also, I can place one of these bedding things in it, and it looks like it belongs. That one's too big. That's extra large, so we can probably use large and it'll look fine. There we go. Exit this editing thing, and then I would love to include this, but there's not really. Ooh, there we go. There's one spot that it can go, and it can go right there. So because we put that there, though, I'm gonna move this guy over here by this window. Kinda. Maybe put it in there for now. There we go. So they have plenty of enrichment. They're really, really happy with it. We can do some more vet research in order to get them more enrichment, though. So their welfare. Let's play right quick. So yeah, as you can see, they have 100% enrichment. They have 100% on both of their brain things, 100% heart shelter, etc., etc. And they're happy with the coverage and the plants, and I am happy with the way that this habitat looks. So that means that we are done and we can start making money from the armadillo guys. Hopefully, we are not losing money now because I hired a lot more staff members. And it looks like we are, so we might have to pop a loan. Oh, also, I do have to do that as worker zone as well. So the one that has no worker zone. Oh, I didn't even hire a new keeper. Okay. Hire that keeper first. And then the one that says no work zone, we add a work zone right quick. That includes this habitat. And then these staff areas. There we go. And then we call it the 9-banded armadillo. This is how I choose to do work zones. It keeps it really organized, in my opinion. High amounts of litter. Where is it? Goodness gracious, my caretaker is not doing their job. There's 2 of you. Oh my goodness. Okay, get another one. Do your job, please. I'd love it for you to do your job. Okay, so that's what we have so far. We are low on cash. Yes, I'm aware. We have some vet research that's done. Woo, we got the Chinese pangolin, which I put in last time. And then we also have to get our new, whatever those are called, our new facilities, because they are having to queue up, and that is not great. I am going to kind of hyper-analyze these people that come in for a second, because if I do that, what do you think about tickets? Ticket price is fair. That's extremely unfortunate. Okay. Well, if they thought that the ticket price was any, like, different, then you can, you can raise your ticket price, but we can't do that right now, so you might have to pop a loan, because I desperately need more, facilities for my staff members. And they're really expensive. Yeah, we can't even afford, well, we don't necessarily need that one. We just need a keeper hut and, like, a staff room and stuff. So we might be able to do it. We might be able to. I'm gonna prioritize staff room. That's keeper hut, workshop, trade center, staff room. Okay. So I'm gonna prioritize staff room because it makes sense. There we go. And then yeah, we have no money, so that's lovely. Have we taken out a loan yet? No, it seems like we haven't. So I'm gonna take out this $20,000 loan probably, just so we have some more money. I don't want to take out the $50,000 loan because that would not be good. And then we can lower how much we're paying. So it'll take longer to pay it off, but won't make our money go down super fast, which is exactly what we need at this time. So I'm thinking we need another keeper hut for sure. That is like major necessity. Pop that there. The other stuff we don't need yet. I could pop in just 2 keeper huts over here, and that would kind of alleviate some of the traffic that we're gonna have eventually. I might honestly do that. Pop in 2 keeper huts, and we have 1 staff room over here, which is pretty good. And that's all we're gonna do for now. But now I must do the boring part and rework my work zones. that people aren't stupid about everything. It's extremely boring to have to do this, but you have to do it, you know? So we have just added them so that they have all this stuff. And then, yeah, that's it. Do the same with everything else. And then I will kind of tell you people what we are doing for our next big project. It's gonna be a pretty big one because I feel like all we've done so far is just small little baby projects this entire time, which is totally fine, but we do want to do some other stuff. So what I'm thinking is we go out either this way, or this way, and we're going to kind of focus on aquatic animals. So I was looking in like all of the Zoopedia to see what animals that they have, and we have penguins that we can put there. We have seals that we can put in the water area. What else? I know we have a few more. We have the crocodiles. We have another kind of crocodile-ish thing. It's similar to a crocodile, but it's not a crocodile. That we can put over there. We can probably put some exhibits over there for like this poisonous frog. And like the rhinoceros and the hippopotamus. But we have several options for like under the giant otter for like a water area, right? So that's the goal. And this guy, we have a lot. The Kai, well, we already put the Kaiman in, so we can't do him. But that is our goal. Our goal is to acquire a water area. These three like branches that I have as a choice, this branch and this branch and this branch over here. One's gonna be water, one's gonna be snow, and one is going to be like an African kind of area that has like giraffes and lions and stuff in it. So that is my goal. I think we'll probably do aquatic out this way. But that is going to be all for this episode. I know we only built one exhibit like we tend to do, but I do hope you enjoyed the video either way, and I hope you will continue to watch the series. I know you guys have been kind of showing a lot of love to it in comparison to the Sims videos, but if you did like this video also, I would love it if you went ahead and watched some of my Sims episodes as well. But until the next video, I will see, oh, if you liked everything, press all the buttons, and then I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.